The Spurs will play the Golden State Warriors this Friday at the Alamodome. For me, this game is a big deal, not so much because of who the Spurs are playing or if it has any significant meaning, because it doesn't, since the Spurs are a lottery team, not competing for anything significant other than hoping to get the number one pick this year. For me, it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to say kind of like, it is nostalgia for when I was a kid during the 90s. When I first became a Spurs fan, the Alamodome was the place the Spurs played in. I remember watching a Spurs game actually that was on NBC in the spring of 1994, in which the Spurs played the Orlando Magic, and they were at the Alamodome. And that game was the game where I became a Spurs fan as a kid, so it holds a lot of significance to me. I thought the Alamodome looked cool watching it as a kid, just the game in the building. Just not obviously I wasn't there, but just from watching on TV, it looked like a cool place. I like the Fiesta colors, as weird as it sounds. It looked amazing at the time. And then you had David Robinson and Dennis Rodman. He obviously had that unique look just for that time period that just looked so unique and cool. So that's how I got hooked on the Spurs. And obviously there was a lot of ups and downs in that building during the 90s. I would say just losing to the Rockets in 95 was probably the one of the biggest low points in the 90s. I would definitely say that. Definitely a low point. It was pretty depressing. It was the first time as a kid I remember just thinking like, wow, this is just hard to deal with, and it's heartbreaking in a sense because it doesn't look like the Spurs are ever going to win a championship. Obviously, 4 years later, I was wrong. Sean Elliott had this big moment in the Alamo Dome where he hit that Memorial Day miracle shot, which is historic. Just an awesome moment in Game 1 against the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals. And this was the building where the Spurs won their first championship back in 1999. They won their championship, well, not officially in this building. They won it in Madison Square Garden, but you get what I'm saying. This was the home court of the Spurs during their championship run. So it was a huge part of their historic 99 run at the time. Just very memorable. So to me, just a lot of good experiences just as a kid from watching games on TV in this building. Obviously, there were some low points during his final years. 2001 getting swept in this building by the Lakers, losing game 1 and game 2 hurt. And then Lakers in 2002 closing out the building. So those were the low points, but there were some good moments and bad, I would say. But overall, I love the Alamo Dome. Granted, it didn't have too much of a long existence, I would say, in the Spurs history. It had a good run from the day it opened in 93 to the day it ended in 2002. So it had a 9-year run. So it was very exciting, and I just hope the Spurs can avenge their last loss way back in 2002 in this building and hopefully just get a win so they can just end up going out on top in this building. The irony is the last team they played in this building was the team from California, the Lakers, and now they're playing another team from California, the Golden State Warriors. So I'm just hoping for some luck. I think the game will be somewhat exciting just to see that large crowd and see how both teams react to it. So yeah, there you have it.